as you've said, can you talk about the importance of this as we come up closer to the dreaded dates in September and October, where interest is resuming on federal student loans September 1st, and then the payments are going to begin to start to be collected by the Department of Education in October?
That's right. So, this is a funny thing that the president has decided that the year that he's also running for re-election is going to turn on student loans. Well, he probably will run against the man Trump, who initially paused loans for people. We are wondering why.
That's a good point, and not one that I want to hear, but a good one, yes.
At this point, as Biden's decision to turn payments back on is, going to enshrine him as the debt collector in chief, we say at the debt collective. So this means that payments start, the loans turn back on September 1st, payments start coming due in October. For the first year that payments, there's what the Biden administration is calling an on-ramp. I think this is an attempt to soften the blow for payments, that in the first year of payments turning back on, the kinds of punishments that debtors ordinarily face for failing to make their payments, going into default or delinquency on their loan, will be paused. So it's more or less safe to not pay loans. At the Debt Collective, one of our organizing strategies is to encourage people, if they can safely manage to not pay loans, and to join what we call the debt strike, which is this collective refusal. We can't pay these loans, and we won't pay these loans. And this on-ramp year that we have is an opportunity for folks to join the debt strike without major, not paying loans can be a dangerous thing. Going into default is not something on your loans can really mess over your life, and it's not something we treat lightly. But if the Biden administration has made the dumb move to turn loans back on, but provided this sort of safety belt that goes with it of blocking default and delinquency, we're welcoming people to join the debt strike. And everybody who's even thinking about not paying on their loans should definitely be sure to fill out this petition to call for the administration to cancel their loans. We're calling it the Biden Better Have Our Money tool. And so that's, I think, going to be an important part of returning, as payments. Borrowers won't forget that the president has the power to cancel student loans. That hasn't been taken away by the Supreme Court. It's a question now of how much conviction Biden's going to use to actually be bold and use that power.
It seemed like at least the Debt Collective did have his ear at some point in this process.
Yeah.
It was not enough. It was less than what Schumer and Warren were calling for, $50,000, but some debt he chose to cancel, even though he was using this, Byzantine application process, the means testing, all the garbage associated. But at this point, maybe you don't feel comfortable expanding on this, but I am curious what your take is. Do you feel that you still have that point of contact, of that ability to make your voice heard on this front? Because it seems like we're in a space where he's not, moving to the left on this.
That's right. I think it's an interesting question. I think I absolutely agree with you that Biden really didn't want to cancel debt. He did it with his gritting his teeth and practical.
He was the credit card senator.
That's right.
He believes in the disciplinary power of debt.
That's exactly right. So for him to make a move on this is he really had to come through a lot of his own work to try to pass this policy. So I think we congratulate him. We're happy that he took that first step. I think the fact that he, on June 30th, when the Supreme Court in the morning announced their decision that they were going to uphold the lawsuit, Nebraska v. Biden, that upheld the basically that blocked relief. That afternoon of that same day, Biden had a press conference saying that he was going to use the Higher Education Act to issue a Plan B. This is exactly what the Debt Collective had been, and others have been calling for, to say, use the Higher Education Act to cancel debt. we wish he had listened more closely when we said it's not so much which act you use, it's how you use it, and with the political savvy and strategy. Why that's not happening, I don't know. I wish the debt collective had, the authority to give him a talking to on what to do next. I don't know that I think it's a question of how strong we organize for it. I think we'll get the win that we organize for. Which is why I really encourage folks to anybody who's interested in this and concerned about this and wants their debt or their kids' debt or their parents' debt released, should definitely join the Debt Collective, follow our Twitter, sign up for our emails, come to our meetings. I think that's going to be the way out of this. I don't have a ton of faith that Biden on his own has a great compass on this issue.
Well, I mean, really lastly here, it's Jeff Zients is now the chief of staff and not Ron Klain.
Right. Yep. And I think that, Ron Klain had been he was supportive of debt cancellation. That was a shift. I think I don't think that I don't really have, I can't give much comment. I don't have much awareness of what the internal factions in the White House for debt cancellation, but I would imagine there's lots of folks that are, this isn't their policy. They don't think this is, they have all kinds of misconceptions about who this benefits. The story, that really tried and true story that this debt cancellation is a handout for the rich elite really needs to be retired. The folks that have the most student debt are Black and brown women. They're poor folks. They're working class folks. 40% of people who have student debt didn't get the college degree to go with it. So any earnings that they would have their earnings haven't been boosted, although the debt has been assumed. So I don't doubt that there's folks in the White House who have some flat to bad understandings of what the problem actually is.
Yeah, well, and then we'll just be clear, that's just your speculation, and it was because I was speculating and I asked you to do so, totally fine. But Eleni Schirmer, thank you so much for your time today. Writer, organizer with the Debt Collective, and everybody be on the lookout for the Debt Collective's tool next week that could help you as, again, those dates approach with payments resuming. Thanks so much for
having me on.
Take care. Of course. Yeah. Great to chat with you.
Yes, you too. Bye.
Bye.